I'm Kaitlin.
And I'm Jillian.
And we are the hosts of the OK Drama podcast,
where two friends recap and break down K-dramas, one episode at a time.
Nice.
Yeah.
You sounded a little bit like Jerry Seinfeld. Where,
I'm okay with that.
There are worse things to sound like.
Yeah, I do love Jerry. Babu!
Oh, God. Anyway.
Yeah, episodes 13, 14.
How are you feeling?
They were good.
Yeah.
I watched episode 13 back home in Alice when I was visiting my family.
Mm-hmm.
And their internet sucks.
Oh, God.
It kept fucking freezing. And then I watched later on. It was totally fine. No issues. Tried watching episode 14 the next day. And literally, like, every 3 minutes, it was stopping. I was like, fuck this. I'll watch at home.
Not conducive
no,
for K-drama
yeah.
watching.
And then
really
it would freeze, and it showed, like, the little loading thing. And then at the bottom, I was still seeing subtitles pop up. Like, what is this? This doesn't work.
Not ideal.
No.
But great episodes.
Yes, definitely. So, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
All right. Episode 13 is titled Nevertheless. Replaying the video of Kyungshim, Bong Soon hears a strange background noise. Following his hunch, Gukdu decides to check out the junkyard again.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
So Bong Soon rushes into Min-hyuk's house. This is starting where the other episode left off. And tells him that Kyungshim has been abducted. And basically she gives him the full rundown of everything that happened, everything that she's learned, yada yada. Min-hyuk tries to calm her down and talk some sense into her. He begs her to not go alone and then temporarily stops her word vomit. And he kind of like holds her. She cries. She's freaking out. He's trying his hardest to calm her down.
Yeah, because at one point she's just like, and doing that
He's
thing.
like, chill out, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of holds her in place, and she's okay as you could be. Then it cuts to the police station, and Gukdu is doing the same thing, but with his police chief and whatever. He's trying to tell them what's going on, which is helpful. They should know. They should be in on the loop.
And I'm kind of like, bro, why didn't you do this earlier?
Yep.
Share your evidence.
There's other moments in these two episodes when I'm like, you should tell someone.
Yeah.
Like, other people that could help you. You should tell them.
Yeah, I think that a lot about TV shows, and I'm like, but then there wouldn't be a plot.
I know.
If someone was just like, can you help me? But it's so true, because sometimes I'm like, just talk.
Or like,
why are you taking this on by yourself? In
a lot of detective shows, they're like searching a house, and it's like a modern home, but the lights are off in there with the flash. I'm like, turn on the lights! Why are you in the dark? Like, and there's nobody there, and you're looking for evidence. Turn the fucking lights on.
Yeah.
Why are you using a flashlight? Makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not a director or a producer, so I don't know.
No, but I mean,
you turn on a light.
Yeah.
You can see a lot better.
That would be ideal for evidence collecting.
Yeah. Anyway, enough complaining. Min-hyuk talks to Bong Soon about his theories and about the kidnapper, and how the kidnapper has a personal beef with Bong Soon now because they've had so many encounters, and that's what worries Min-hyuk. He tells her not to try to solve everything on her own, and then he gives her a necklace, the one that he was kind of putting together that one night, and he takes her home. Necklace is pretty cute. We then cut to the underground prison, and we see that Kyungshim is crying, and it's super scary. The other girls are there too,
like whimpering.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
not a good scene. The police talk about the owner of the junkyard and the kidnapper's backgrounds, and apparently he wasn't admitted into the army due to psychiatric issues. And as we already know, every dude there goes into the army at some point, basically, right?
Yeah, I'm unclear as to the age you have to do it by, but there's kind of like a deadline. Like, either you join, so I think there are different professions you can get into, so that you don't have to join the military, but it's basically like being a police officer.
Gotcha, okay.
And so, yeah, by a certain age, I think you have to have served your mandatory military service, unless there is, like, an extenuating circumstance.
Gotcha.
I guess, like, psychiatric issues.
You're insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, he killed someone through arson at the age of 15.
Crazy.
Yeah. So dude's got issues. Mm-hmm. And the police decide to split up and be more aggressive, questioning the two dudes. The two dudes meaning the one that they think is or know that is the kidnapper, and the guy that works for him. Mm-hmm. And do you want to say your little side note?
Side note, apparently the cops have nicknames. I don't know if you've noticed.
I haven't noticed that, no.
Okay, well, I'm watching on Netflix, so
I'm watching on Viki.
Yeah, who knows how accurate this is. But the chief calls one of them Brown Bear, and that guy is always wearing shirts and sweaters with bears on them.
I haven't even noticed those sweaters. Oh my god.
I'll have to show you.
Which guy is he?
He's kind of like chubby, middle-aged, and he's always wearing shirts.
I think I know the one you're talking about, but I can't picture any bears on it.
Oh, let me see if I can Google it real
That's
quick.
so funny.
Yeah.
I call Lumen Brown Bear.
Aw.
Lumen, who's a cat, he's a brown bear.
I bet nothing is gonna come up with this search. Brown Bear Bong Soon.
Brown Bear Bong Soon. I guess I don't really pay attention to those scenes because it's always just like dark.
Yeah.
In their workplace.
Yeah.
And they're usually just like sitting and eating and just, I don't know.
Yeah, they're not cute to look at.
No.
And they're kind of boring. But yeah, I'll do, when I do the screenshots, I'll take some screenshots of him wearing bear shirts.
That's great.
Yeah. This is the stuff you catch when you've watched this show like 7 times.
It's true. So. That's true. I'm sure if this was my 7th time, I would notice.
This was the first time I noticed that. So.
Okay, cool.
So Bong Soon wakes up with her alarm, but you can tell that she hasn't really slept since she's just kind of like crouched by her bed.
It's like she was praying at her bed all night long or something.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of like been there though, where you're like really stressed out or just like sick and you just like don't want to lay down. So you're just like, like hunched over your bed.
I usually just like get into fetal position and cry myself to sleep and then wake up with eyes that hurt so bad.
Yeah, like swollen.
They're just like badly swollen, like I had an allergic reaction to something. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I've woken up with eyes like
such
that
a crybaby.
So am I.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Why do I have to be like that?
Yeah, no, I cry a lot too. But I like to say I just like to let my stuff out, because if you hold it in too much, that's when stuff gets
That's when you kill someone.
Yeah, that's when you kill someone. That's when you commit arson. So anyway, I feel like it's good that we're criers.
Okay.
We're in touch with our feelings.
Yeah, I guess
and we let them out.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Yeah, that's what I go with. So anyway, she just woke up. Min-hyuk is at his computer, so he also didn't really get a good night's sleep. So he wakes up in his basement thing, and it looks like he's trying to do some research / like recon stuff in his fancy computers. Then we cut back to Bong Soon, and she watches the video of the kidnapper, or the video that the kidnapper sent of Kyung-shim again. And she's just kind of like thinking about the situation at the junkyard, and then she realizes that she hears background noises in the video that she recognizes are from the junkyard. So she's like, aha, I think I've got something. Yeah. So Min-hyuk is at work at Einsoft, but he's still working on kidnapper stuff. And poor Mr. Gong comes in and is like really fucking confused.
I know, poor guy.
And out of the loop. And he's like, where's Bong Soon? And Min-hyuk is like really focused and doesn't say anything or help. And he's just like, fuck. Because he's trying to catch the kidnapper and he's worried about Bong Soon, like where she is.
And then just basic work stuff is happening.
Yeah, like he also runs a company. And so, yeah. So then, we get more dumb gangster stuff at the hospital.
I can't. I'm so tired of
I said it's not really worth mentioning because it's really just like a lot of play on words that don't really translate well, I don't think. Then we come back to Big Talk at the temple. He's become a poet, blah, blah, blah. Trying to get rid of his materialism. The weird monk character comes in. And I think at this point we're just trying to like we're realizing that Big Talk is like getting suspicious of the monk and this whole lifestyle.
Because he's like asking to use his car and stuff.
Yeah, but again, I feel like this is probably offensive.
Yeah.
it's weird because they're at a Buddhist temple, but the guy's acting Hindu, question mark? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know what they're trying to do in those scenes at all.
It's not.
Bong Soon rushes over to the junkyard. She does not tell anyone where she's going. Bong Soon.
I know, sweetie.
Min Hyuk cancels the meeting when Mr. Gong tells him that Bong Soon isn't answering anyone's calls. He realizes she's gonna fucking do something.
Mm-hmm.
Bong Soon asks the drugged out employee where Kyung Shim is, but he's all fucked up. Definitely not helpful. He's kind of just like, you're looking for your friend, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah.
He's kind of like fucking with her.
Yeah, I was wondering what you thought. If you thought he was like fucking with her, or if you thought he was just like that far gone.
I don't know.
It's hard for me to know, too.
Yeah. It's like...
Because he's like, maybe he's with your friend.
Yeah, he's fucking weird, that guy.
Yeah, he's creepy. He did a good job.
He was creepy from the very beginning when he would just, like, look over his shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know. That guy's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Not a good dude. So, yeah, she freaks out. She starts pushing cars, and she's just losing it trying to find her friend. Uh-huh. Meanwhile, the kidnapper sees all of this in the cameras, realizes he needs to get the hell out of there. He's like, what is this?
Yeah. Because he knew she was strong.
He didn't know she was that strong.
Girl Bong Soon.
He didn't know that girl Bong Soon was that strong.
Yeah.
Bong Soon, like, pushes a car. It opens up some door, and it ends up being the entrance to the underground prison. Mm-hmm. Min Hyuk finds the junkyard, and he can somehow see that it goes underground.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's, like, at his computer, and it's one of those things where Andrew's like, every computer scene has beep, boop, 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 boop. Why does every computer scene have that?
Yeah, and I don't know how this technology works.
Even, like, when I was watching at home, my dad was like, what's he doing? What the hell does he do for a living? Who is this guy? And I was like, I don't know. He makes games.
He's just a genius that makes video games.
He makes video games. So, yeah, he can somehow see that there's an underground prison. And so he's able to track Bong Soon, sees that she's at the junkyard, and I don't know.
How he tracked her?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been wondering if it's the necklace, because it's never really mentioned that the necklace was the tracker.
Well, he is in that one scene doing something with it.
Yeah, and he tells her to never take it off. Which I feel kind of conflicted about.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the first... Again, I haven't watched this in probably like a year and a half. But I never remember thinking... I don't remember thinking, oh, the necklace was the tracker. I think I just kind of assumed it was her cell phone or something.
Because earlier he tracks her through her phone.
Yeah.
In an earlier scene.
Yeah.
When he and Min Hyuk, or he and Gukdo are both looking for her. And they're in separate cars.
But yeah, I'm thinking like, why did he mess with the necklace?
Why did he replace it with something else?
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel weird about a boyfriend tracking.
And I mean,
planting a tracking device on you.
On the one hand, it's kind of a good thing because she's like strong girl and she's getting into all this trouble.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, we need to know where you're at if you run off so we can help you. But then on the other hand, like, she obviously doesn't know it's a tracker.
Yeah.
So that's a little weird.
Yeah. And she's entitled to her privacy.
Yeah, I feel like if you would have said, like, I want to be able to protect you, this shit is all happening, wear this, don't take it off.
Yeah. But then...
I mean, Min Hyuk, you're good looking and all, but you can't just track women.
I know.
Who you just started dating.
Yeah, totally.
It's a little weird.
It is weird, but it does come in handy. So.
For the plot of the show.
Yes. There's a lot of...
Yeah.
It's very gray area.
Yeah. Anyway, the kidnapper takes Kyung Shim. He leaves all the other girls there. And Bong Soon comes in. She sees them. And she starts freaking out, but then she helps them to escape. So she's telling them, like, go back. I don't want to hurt you. She pulls the doors off and helps the girls, like, breaks their chains, their handcuffs or whatever. And the girls are freaking out, like, what's happening? And then we see the kidnapper make a call to his fucked up employee and tells him to blow up the place. So the guy's just there, like, throwing gas all over the place, stepping on the gas and everything. He's having the time of his life playing with the gas. And then he lights it, and while this is all happening, the Superpower Girl song is playing. She's just being a super badass, saving everyone, doing what she's supposed to do. And she's looking for Kyung Shim, and they tell her he took her. And then,
And I'm thinking the Superpower Girl song might be too lighthearted.
Yeah, and at that point, my dad was still watching, and he was like, do you think this song's a little much? He's like, do you think the music distracts from what's happening? And I was like, I don't know. I kind of like the song. And he's like, it's so loud. It's like the same volume as the dialogue. Speaking. Yeah, it was strange. And I hadn't really noticed that. But I think this was the first time when that song is playing when there's actual dialogue happening.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All the other times it's happened, like when the mountains of dudes were coming from the gang, whatever. And
or she's training or something. Yeah.
This is the first time where something big was happening.
I was thinking this, but then Alex was watching with me and he was like, this is a really serious scene and this song is kind of goofy. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because Bong Soon is like, Bong Soon is sobbing. These girls are like traumatized. It's a lot.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think they could have maybe added in a different song.
Mm-hmm.
Or no song? I don't know.
Or just like, like sound effects song.
Yeah.
Like just tones or something in the back. Yeah.
The employee gets everything set on fire, not looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Gukdu pulls up to the junkyard and he sees smoke. And then we see a car being pushed by Bong Soon and the woman come out of the crate. So, like, the whole thing explodes. There's, like, fire all in the room where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
She manages somehow to get them all out of there. And the employee is totally baffled by the whole situation. How is she out here?
He's like, what?
Yeah. He's like hallucinating, he thinks. Bong Soon tries to ask the employee, but he can't answer her. And then Gukdu runs up and arrests him. And he's just kind of laughing. And you noted, like, the hyenas in the Lion King?
Yeah.
I agree, yeah. That's great. First responders get to the scene, and Bong Soon just kind of sneaks away. Oh, I forgot to mention, like, in that scene when she's, like, screaming and crying because she can't find Kyung Shim, and then, like, the fire's coming down, and the whole explosion happens, and she's just, like, losing it. And I was trying to explain to my parents because they hadn't seen any of it. They're coming in like 4 episodes before the end. And I was like, this is Strong Girl. Her name is Bong Soon. She's strong. This is Minhyuk. He works here. He's her boyfriend. It's like trying to explain like in very short sentences. And when she's there like crying and screaming, my dad was like, she needs to get out. And my mom's like, I know. Why is she crying? She's stronger. Get out of there.
Oh my god, your mom is hilarious.
So stupid.
She's stronger.
She's stronger. Why is she crying? Get out.
Oh my god.
She needs to hurry up and get out. So stupid.
That's great. I love your parents.
They're ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, Minhyuk then pulls up to the junkyard as Bong Soon is walking out, and he's upset because he told her, don't go anywhere, don't do anything without me, let me help you. He gets out and he opens the door for her. It's a big moment.
Yeah, because you're like, convenient that he showed up right then, but he looks mad.
Yeah.
Like, but he looks mad but scared, but like
relieved, frustrated.
It's one of those things where like almost as a parent, like, you came
I'm so
home late
in you.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're safe. So they have a talk, and Minhyuk kind of gets after Bong Soon for not telling him what she was doing and trying to do everything herself. Bong Soon looks super sad and tells him she still didn't find Kyung Shim, and Minhyuk looks like really conflicted at this point because like obviously he loves Bong Soon and like he wants to help her find her best friend.
Yeah.
And, like, it's all very upsetting. But also, he's, like, mad because, you know, they're in a relationship at this point. It's not like she's his bodyguard anymore. And, like, in theory, they should be telling each other things because they're in a relationship. And, like, the least you could do is be like, hey, this is what's going on in my life.
Hey, I listened to this video again, and I realized this is where he's at.
Just, like, a simple text. Or even, you don't even have to be like, to me, you could just be like, I'm going here. Just a heads up. if I don't come back, call the cops.
Yep.
That's always what I tell people at work. Like, I'm going for a walk. If I'm not back in an hour, call the cops. Anyway. Min-hyuk is conflicted. So then the goofy-ass cops get to the scene, and Gukju shows all of them the kidnapper's lair office thing, and they can see, like, all these cameras, all the screens, his, like, creepy bulletin board with everybody's pictures on it, and they're all like, wow, like, they can't believe it. And basically, they're like, this guy's a creep.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, something we knew from the
Creepiest
beginning.
of creeps.
Yeah. So the news reports that 3 women have been saved, but the manhunt is underway for the kidnapper. The 3 women are at the hospital with severe mental trauma, obviously, and the police try to question the women, but they aren't very responsive. Min-hyuk and Bong Soon both look super sad in their respective rooms. Min-hyuk does some angry boxing. Then we see Bong Soon showing Gukju the video that the kidnapper sent her at the cafe in Einsoft. And he's obviously very concerned, but Bong Soon doesn't want the police to be involved because she's afraid that if the kidnapper finds out, he'll kill Kyung-shim per his video. Min-hyuk sees Gukju comforting Bong Soon in the cafe, which, like, he already is upset with Bong Soon for, like, leaving and not telling him stuff. And we already know that, like, Min-hyuk does not like Gukju. And he is already, not that he feels insecure about their relationship, but, like,
he knows how much she liked him.
Yeah. I would feel like, I think anyone would feel insecure, or not insecure, but just, like, uncomfortable. Weird. Yeah, with the idea of, like, your significant other talking very intensely and confiding in someone who they previously were, like, basically in love with, even though you've told them, like, confide in me, like, tell me stuff. But she's telling this other dude, like, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
So there's this awkward moment where, like, they all see each other, and, like, Gukju just kind of, like, walks away. Which is, like, good of him. Like, he kind of just, like, stands down. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, and then Min-hyuk gets, like, pissed and pulls Bong Soon away, which, kind of aggressive, but whatever. He basically tells her he doesn't know what to do because he's so worried about her all the time. Again, like, he basically tells her, like, I know all this stuff about you. I know this. I know I said this earlier, but, like, I'm going crazy because I feel worried about you, and basically, like, you're not telling me anything. And I'm trying to give you your space. I'm trying not to make this about me, but, like, I don't know what to do. Which I feel like is fair, but yeah. I like that he brought up, like, I'm not trying to make this about me. Like, this is the last thing you need to deal with right now. But anyway, so basically they end up fighting, and Min-hyuk has a great line where he says, like, because she's like, you're the one who trained me, like, didn't you think that this would happen? And he says, I didn't know I would love you this much. Aww. But then Bong Soon breaks up with him. Like, basically right after that. Like, after he says that line, she gets mad, and she, like, clenches her little fist. Yeah. And is like, I don't think we can do this anymore. And so quick. I know. So she just, like, walks away, like, kind of badass, but also, like, cold and really sad. And we get a little voiceover of both of them, like, being upset. And they're basically both just saying, like, I really like you, and I want a normal life with you. This is hard. And it's, like, very heartbreaking. Because they both want the same thing. Yeah. And honestly, I kind of feel like this is Bong Soon's fault. Like, it's not necessary for you to break up with him. You just be like, I'm sorry, but shit's happening. I'm going through a really hard time right now. And, like, you could just be like, I just need to pause. Like, I can't commit time or effort to this relationship right now. And if that's upsetting to you, like, maybe we should take a break. Yeah. But not like, I don't love you. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't say I don't love you, but she's very cold. It would definitely come off that way, though. Yeah. If someone was telling you they were breaking up with you after you saying, I didn't know I would love you. Yeah. It's like, well, I guess we're done here, Kaitlin. See ya. Yeah. But Jill, I love you. Well, I'm sorry. This podcast just isn't working. Oh, God.
We've already done so many episodes. So Gukdu tells the chief about Bong Soon and the kidnapper, and he laughs, and then he starts to realize that all of the people's statements have been true all along, going all the way back to the gangsters in the beginning and the kindergartners.
Yeah. Miss Avengers.
Yes. He tells Gukdu that he won't tell anyone because no one would believe him anyway, because it's just an insane story.
Mm-hmm.
Then Gukdu tells him how the kidnapper knows about her strength, and that's why he's targeting her, and why he has Kyungshim.
Mm-hmm.
So he took her out of kind of just
spite.
Yeah, spite to get back at her and try to fuck her up. Bong Soon's mom and friends run into Bong Soon's dad with Gukdu's mom, and things get pretty ridiculous and crazy here.
Mm-hmm.
The two women verbally fight. They throw shade at each other, while Bong Soon's dad kind of hides in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cowarding.
Yeah, because remember, like, Bong Soon's mom hates Gukdu's mom.
Totally hates her.
Yeah.
And they haven't really gone into why she hates her. And I'm curious if that will happen.
I don't think so. I think it's kind of one of those, like, oh, you think you're better than me?
Yeah, you're writing books and blah, blah, blah,
and
whatever the
flirting
fuck.
with my husband.
Mm-hmm. You always come into my shop.
Uh-huh. And, like, you look down on me kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is so funny because Bonky and Gukdu are best friends.
Yeah.
So that's awkward.
And they both are successful.
Yeah.
In their respective careers. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange. The higher-up cop brings reporters to the station to try to show off, and Gukdu's boss is like, no, we're still working. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We're still looking for him. Job's not done.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking leave. And then we cut back to Bong Soon's mom's friends who are trying to comfort her, and she ends up bragging about how handsome her husband is.
Yeah, they're like, I don't think anything happened. Like, they wouldn't, if they were actually doing something, like, they try to hide it.
They wouldn't be in public.
Yeah, and Bong Soon's mom was like, it's so tiring having a handsome husband. And her friends are like,
okay,
crickets. Like, I'm gonna leave now.
I don't think Bong Soon's dad is ugly.
No, he just looks very average.
Yeah, he's just like your typical older Asian dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not like...
He looks like a dad.
He's not like an ugg.
No, he's not...
So that's... I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's no Mr. Bong. I thought he was handsome. For an older guy.
Yeah, agreed.
But, yeah.
Back at the hospital, the women are starting to talk, and they keep bringing up Bong Soon and how the kidnapper had a music box. And they keep asking where the girl is that saved them, and how she looked upset. Min Hyuk is a jerk to Mr. Gong and takes out his frustration on him, and then tells him to find Bong Soon because she hasn't shown up to work or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gong finds Bong Soon in the break room and tells her Min Hyuk is looking for her. And he tries to figure out what's going on between the two of them and why she hasn't been answering her phone and missed their meeting about her game and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really say anything. And he's kind of like, did y'all fight?
Yeah.
Are y'all okay?
I feel so bad because he seems like such a sweet guy.
Yeah. And he's just in the middle of this whole thing that's way over his head. He doesn't know anything that's going on.
And again, I kind of want to be like, Min Hyuk, tell Mr. Gong, like, hey, we've got some personal stuff. Mm-hmm. You know that kidnapper you've heard on the news?
Yeah.
We're kind of in the middle of that. You don't need to know everything, but...
Yeah, it's a mess.
Just heads up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be distracted.
Mr. Gong tells Min Hyuk where Bong Soon is, and he immediately goes over to her. Min Hyuk tries to talk to Bong Soon and tells her to eat, but Bong Soon's kind of just like, whatever, don't worry about me. He apologizes to her for what happened, blah, blah, blah. And she's just not really interested in apologies or talking or telling her to take care of herself and eat. Like, she's just kind of like, fuck this, whatever. He storms out because she's being so cold. And then he remembers that she likes spicy chicken feet, and he orders her some. Yeah. And I was like, oh, chicken feet, ew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet of you.
Yeah, because he's kind of immature, but also I can understand, like, being upset because he says something along the lines of, like, you know, if you want to catch this guy, like, you need to eat.
You need your strength.
Yeah, she was like, I have enough strength. Like, don't mind me. And whatever. He apologizes. And then she's like, okay. And he was like, fine, I won't mind you.
Fuck you.
Pretty much. He's like, don't eat then. I'm like, okay, guy, just calm down. But yeah, I did like how he ordered her the chicken feet. And we get like a clear sponsorship of like that app.
It just made me think of like when I order my fried rice online. And I'm like, Andrew, which one do you want again? Boop, 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 boop.
Nice.
Yes.
In the little product placement.
Yep.
So the police tried to interrogate the druggie, but he's no help, obviously, because he's a druggie. And at one point, they're just kind of like dangling his needles in front of him. Like, I don't think that's how you're supposed to be doing this, but whatever. So we get more dumb gangster big tech stuff. The sidekicks go visit him, and they realize they've been awarded the redevelopment stuff in Bong Soon's neighborhood. So they're like, fuck monk life, and they go leave to make money. Another why, though, when the neighborhood kids finally open the feces wine jar, and everyone starts gagging. Okay.
Gross.
Yes. Then we see the kidnapper. He has a rando steal someone's cell phone from the street, and then he calls Bong Soon. They decide to meet, and Bong Soon agrees to marry the kidnapper if he lets Kyung Shim go. Because remember, he was like kidnapping all these women, so he could do like the wives. 7 brides play. Yeah. So he's like, I'm not gonna have a wedding. I don't know why I gave him a southern
I'm not gonna have a wedding. You're gonna be my bride.
I need to marry someone. Anyway, so the police talk about how like psychotic the kidnapper is, and how how he pumped his employee full of drugs to control him. And the chief has a hunch that the kidnapper will make a move that night. So Min-hyuk leaves Bong Soon the spicy chicken feet on her desk and looks worried and like upset, but he leaves the office again. Then we see Bong Soon come in like right after Min-hyuk left. It's kind of like a revolving door with these two. So she leaves a note on his desk, and she sees like the takeout bag of the chicken feet, and she looks like kind of overwhelmed. Then we cut back to the kidnapper being like super fucking creepy, and like basically he opens a door to Kyung Shim, and she looks really scared. And he makes some stupid comment, or maybe he doesn't even talk. Like, it's just a creepy scene. Like, hey, remember, he still has Kyung Shim.
She's still here.
She's scared, and he's a creep. Min-hyuk sees that the chicken feet are gone when he gets back into his office, and he reads Bong Soon's note, which basically just says, sorry, I need to take a personal day. Like, when she's writing the note, I remember thinking, like, oh, I wonder if it's gonna be, like, romantic, like, I'm sorry, but it's like, no, sorry, I need to take a personal day. So then we cut to Bong Soon's house, and she's getting ready to meet the kidnapper, and then she sees the note from Min-hyuk in the bag of chicken feet. It's really romantic, and basically says he still loves her. And then we get one of those scenes where, like, we're seeing Min-hyuk, and he's kind of pacing in his basement.
He's battling his feelings.
Yeah, and not sure whether to call, and he just is kind of, like, you know, restless in his worry. Bong Soon also is pacing, waiting for the kidnapper, and ignores Gukdu's call. And then the kidnapper finally texts her a location of where to meet him.
Min-hyuk sees that Bong Soon is on the move with his secret tracker and calls Gukdu. He tells him he's the only cop that he can trust. Bong Soon shows up to the construction site, and the kidnapper is talking to her through a PA system or some sort of thing. Kyung Shin is tied up under a construction elevator lift, and it looks like the kidnapper is inside of that lift way up high, and he's wearing the ugly mask, and he says he's coming down, so Bong Soon runs to Kyung Shin, and she's like kind of on top of her. She holds the bottom of the elevator up above them, and then she pushes it away. It flies in the air. Guy falls out. She's worried about her friend. And as soon as Kyung Shim is set free, she tells Bong Soon that the guy in the elevator wasn't the kidnapper. And Bong Soon runs up to him and sees that it's just some random guy who's all fucked up. His face is all bruised and everything.
And, like, gagged, I think.
Yeah.
Or he has
tape and stuff, yeah. And he was just wearing the kidnapper's mask. So the kidnapper just kind of dressed him up like him. Scooby-Doo moment. And then the kidnapper holds Kyung Shim and beats her again. But we see Bong Soon lose her power at that point. Like, the lights all go out in her and in the book and everything. And she can't really do anything. She tries to walk up to the kidnapper and break his gun, but she can't. She suddenly seems very, very weak. Like, she almost can't even walk either.
Yeah.
And he keeps messing with her. But then Min-hyuk comes in and starts fighting the kidnapper, and he's a really good fighter.
Yeah, he looks really cool.
Yeah. Like, did you need a bodyguard? I don't know. He was just, like, really good at what he was doing, but whatever.
I've noticed, too, that in the Korean dramas, when they fight, they do a lot of, like, martial arts style moves, not so much, like, closed fist punching, which I feel like looks a lot cooler.
Yeah, agreed.
Than closed fist punching.
Yeah, so then Gukdu comes in, and he's got a gun. Kidnapper runs to his car. Min-hyuk goes to check on Bong Soon, and Gukdu shoots the kidnapper, hits him in the arm. Kidnapper still drives away. Bong Soon passes out while Min-hyuk holds her, and it's a super dramatic yell. The song that plays at the end is sung by...
Oh, yeah, that's kind of like just a side note. Yeah.
Do you want to say the side note?
Okay. So, yeah, after this, like, super dramatic yell, we hear this, like, very dramatic song. And so it's actually sung by Park Hyung-sik, which is the actor that plays Min-hyuk. Because he used to be in, like, a boy idol group.
Cool.
And we talked to before how he's, like, a really good singer because he did that, like, operatic?
Yeah.
Opera style. So, yeah.
Yeah, it leaves us in this episode with her passed out, him holding her. And then my mom was like, Strong Girl died.
Strong Girl died. That's the title of this episode.
Strong Girl died. Question mark.
Yeah.
Her losing her power here is really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because she didn't purposely hurt an innocent fucking person, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, she legitimately thought he was the guy, and she was trying to save someone's life from getting fucking crushed by an elevator.
Yeah.
So, why the fuck did they take her power away?
Gods are unfair. A lot of the time. I mean...
This is true.
I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but... I mean, I guess if you wanted to argue it, you could say, like, she probably didn't need to hurt him to save her friend. I thought the
same thing, yes.
Like, she could have probably just held the elevator up with one hand and,
tore her off with the other hand and let her go free.
Yeah.
I was thinking she was going to do that, but then I also understand, like, this is a guy that's kidnapped multiple women. And this is a guy that hurt her best friend, is after her, so she's filled with anger about this person, thinking that up there is the person.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And maybe it's, like, the severity of the injury?
Maybe.
I don't know, because, like, obviously she's, like, accidentally hurt people in the past.
Yeah.
Just, like, and not
lost her powers.
Yeah. So, maybe it's because she, like, maybe she had the intent to, I don't know.
To harm.
Yeah, we need to look at the rules.
Can somebody please give us the rules?
A rule book, please. But like we said, like, no one knows how they use their power. Like, Bong Soon's grandma's like, I don't know.
Her mom's like, ooh, I just lost it.
I just lost it, and I didn't write anything in the journal, so good luck. Anyway, man. So yeah, it's a pretty intense end of episode.
Yeah.
Jill's mom thought Bong Soon died. So, on to 14.
Yes.
It is called A Prelude to the Battle. When Bong Soon doesn't come home late into the night, her dad gets worried.
Oh.
I know. I love her dad. Gukju is conflicted over what to include on Kyung Shin's case report.
You see that a lot in shows, but that's a small scene.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, like, detective shows like, how can I phrase this to where it makes sense? Because what actually happened, I can't say.
Or, like, in Descendants of the Sun, where they just, like, make up, they're like, let's base our time captive off of, not Rambo. What is it? Or is it Rambo?
I think they said Rambo, and then they said another thing, too.
Oh, the Bourne series.
Yes.
So dumb. But yeah, this synopsis is only, like, the first 15 minutes of the episode, but whatever.
They spend the whole episode with Gokdu at a computer, typing and erasing.
Just backspace.
He's calling Bong Soon and Minhyuk for, like, help. Like, how should I phrase this?
No, you need to write it all so our reports don't conflict.
And then they ask him to put it into turnitin.com, which we were talking about earlier.
Oh, God.
So stupid.
And to make sure he didn't plagiarize another report.
He didn't plagiarize a TV show.
Okay, so 14. 14 starts a little before 14 ends, or 13 ends, so we're like 5 minutes before 13 ends at this point. So Gukdu shoots the kidnapper, Minhyuk runs to Bong Soon, she passes out. Then Gukdu goes on a car chase with the kidnapper.
He got in his car really quick.
I know. Because usually in, like, TV shows or movies, you're like, go! But Gukdu's, like, on it.
He, like, teleported into his car and was suddenly on the road chasing him.
Totally. It all happens very fast. So they're on the car chase, but the kidnapper is eventually run off the road, and his car, like, flies into a lake thing. I kind of like the face Gukdu makes when the car flies off, because he looks, like, really freaked out, like, almost crying, which I feel like is pretty realistic, because, you know, he spent the better part of, I don't know how many months, trying to catch this guy, and obviously, like, you would want to catch him and, like, bring him into police custody, but also I think there's, like, this moment of, like, is he dead? Is he gonna get away? Am I gonna get in trouble? Like, what's going on here?
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. The first responders go to both scenes, meaning, like, the construction site with Bong Soon and Kyung-shim, and then also at, like, the lake thing with the kidnapper and the cars. So they take care of Kyung-shim and, like, the random guy who looked like the kidnapper, and the cops show up to where the car fell into the lake. The cops meaning, like, Gukdu's unit? I don't know if that's the right word. And so basically everyone is assuming he died because...
Don't assume.
I know. Because the road from which he fell, it's, like, basically a cliff, and it's pretty high up. I feel like they said it was several stories high. So anyway, Minhyuk texts Gukdu and tells him that he has Bong Soon and that she's okay or whatever. And then we see Minhyuk with Bong Soon in his basement thing, and she's all wrapped up on the couch, and she looks really comfortable, to be honest. So he calls Bong Soon's dad to let him know that she's okay. And Bong Soon's dad basically says, like, okay, thanks for checking in. Like, I trust you. We get a nice scene of Bong Ki and their dad talking about how they worry about Bong Soon and how special she is and how they both like Minhyuk.
Yay.
So yeah, I really like Bong Ki.
Yeah, he's sweet.
I think he's low-key really handsome. Like, he's not, like, a pretty boy like Minhyuk, but I don't know. I feel like he's like a slightly above average looking dude.
He kind of has a bug look. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like the girl from Romance, she kind of had a bug look. Some people look like cats, some people look like bugs. He kind of looks like a bug. I can't even explain what
do you think Bong
it is.
Soon looks like? A cat? A puppy?
I don't know. She's got a nice, small, round face. I don't know.
So...
You know, there are some people like, fucking... What's that woman's name? From the Fashion Police that passed away?
Joan Rivers?
Yes. Joan Rivers is a total fucking cat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's just something about, like, the jaw. And then a bug face. I can't really explain what's buggy about someone.
It's kind of like the eyes.
Yeah. Like, Steve Buscemi has, like, big popped-out bug eyes. Bong Ki doesn't have popped-out bug eyes.
But it's almost like...
eyebrow thing.
It's like their face is tight.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of facial movement. I don't know why.
Your hand is... can't even explain that movement.
No. But, yeah, side note, when we're talking about people looking like animals and my, like, deep foray into BTS lately. So, I showed you, right, like, the little cartoon character thingies. So one of them drew, like, an alpaca, because he's like, people tell me that I look like an alpaca, And then they did, like, the video I was watching, they did a side-by-side of him and an alpaca, and I was like, what the fuck? He does look like one.
Oh my god.
I was shocked, because he's supposed to be, like, the handsome one.
And now all you see is an alpaca?
Kind of, because he has, like, a really long neck, and, like, he kind of has, like, an ovally face. And I was like, wow. But when he said, like, I'm drawing an alpaca because people say I look like one. And I was like, that's a very, not exotic, but just, like, a not
just random,
uncommon animal. Just for someone to say, you look like this. But then when they did, like, the side-by-side, I was like, that is accurate.
Okay.
He does look like one. So.
That's great.
Anyway. Am I still talking?
Yes.
Okay. So, Bong Soon wakes up and she sees Min-hyuk sleeping right next to her on the couch. And she goes to sit up, but then he pulls her back down and, like, holds her all romantically. He does this very smooth, like, arm movement where she's sat up. She's, like, about to get up. He pulls her down, but as she's coming down, he, like, slips his other hand in there, so her head is resting on his arm, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So they're, like, staring at each other very close, because they're basically, like, not spooning, but face forward spooning on the couch. And he's, like, very romantic, and he looks really sad, and his hair is all down, so you know he's not at his peak Min-hyuk. And he tells her, please love me back. Which, and then she replies, I do love you, while crying. And I just typed a bunch of letters, because I'm like, it's very sad.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Min-hyuk has I really like this scene.
They're back together.
Yeah, Min-hyuk has a line about how she's so small like a peanut.
I liked that line.
Me too. And that she can easily fit in his heart, but he's not sure if he can fit in hers. And she replies that he does, and he says, I love you. And then, of course, the love you, love you, love you song plays, and he holds her tight. So sweet. I love that he calls her a peanut.
Love you.
I know.
Yeah, that's what we call Miss Edie.
Peanut?
Peanut.
Yeah, it's really
She looks
sweet.
like a little peanut.
She does.
The next morning, Bong Soon's mom goes into her room and realizes she did not spend the night at home. She gets super excited when she's not there. And then Bong Ki tells her that she stayed overnight with Min-hyuk. And he thinks something happened. And then Kyung Shim calls Bong Soon's mom crying, and her mom starts to get worried.
Side note, I love Bong Soon's mom's face when she opens her door.
That expression is everything.
Yeah, we need to make a gif out of that. Just like that very moment. Slow but big grin. So funny.
Back at Min-hyuk's place, we see her trying to juice an apple like she did earlier in the series. She's trying with her bare hands, and she can't, because she's not a strong girl anymore. Min-hyuk also sees, and it hasn't really, like, they haven't really had a discussion that she's lost her power.
Right.
She seems kind of embarrassed to say, doesn't want to admit that it's actually gone.
Yeah.
It's like she's holding it in her hand, she's trying, and then when she sees him, she kind of stops.
Yeah.
And he doesn't ask her about it or anything. He just kind of comes up.
Because I think, like, there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
It's all very fresh.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah.
Bong Soon asks about what happened the night before, and he tells her that everything is taken care of. And he starts to ask about her power, but then kind of pivots to getting after her for going alone. And then he starts to juice the apple for her in the machine that's conveniently right there.
In an actual juicer.
Yeah, ready to go. Gukdu is stumped and doesn't know how to handle the report. Here's what they were talking about in the synopsis. And the cops talk about how they still haven't found the kidnapper's body. And in my mind, I'm like, this is a fucking Jason, Michael Myers, Chucky scene where the fucking bad guy's not dead. The scary monster's coming back, y'all. Bong Soon's family is worried about her once they learn what happened. And then Kyung Shim shows up and gives them more info. She tells them that she's going back to Busan right away. And Bong Soon's dad just looks so worried about this girl, who's, like, basically their second daughter.
Yeah, and, like, knowing that Bong Soon was involved, which, again, Bong Soon is, like, his pride and joy.
Yeah. it's just all around. Everybody's worried and freaking out. And they're telling King Shim, like, you need to eat. You've gotten so thin. Let's feed you. And then Min Hyuk drops Bong Soon off at home. He tells her to take good care of King Shim, but also take care of him too. Then, your turn.
Okay. So we see, like, Bong Soon not being flirty, but almost on the verge of being flirty with Min Hyuk. And then as she, like, gets into her house, she just immediately starts sobbing when she sees Kyung Shim. Which is kind of funny, because it's, like, a very stark difference.
And, man, when she cries, she cries.
Yeah.
It sounds like a child crying. Like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Alex made a comment. He was like, I kind of like how they don't try to pretty cry in Korean dramas. Yeah. They just, like, let it all out.
Absolutely. And for her, like, it's an intense cry.
It's very intense. So... Oh, I love how Kyung Shim calls her Bong Bong. But anyway, Bong Soon tells Kyung Shim that her power is gone and that she feels conflicted because it's what she always wanted, but it feels strange now that it's gone. So the two girls are kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm happy you're okay, blah, blah, blah. My power's gone. Bong Soon's mom gets after her for not telling anyone at the dinner table and hits her. Because basically they've given Kyung Shim, like, her soup and they're all eating together. But Bong Soon is like, ow, that hurt, which didn't used to happen because she was super strong, and I guess her mom's slaps never hurt her. It was more just the principle of the matter. And so then Bong Soon walks away, and Kyung Shim, like, tells Bong Soon's mom kind of off to the side that Bong Soon lost her power, and then her mom feels really bad afterwards. So Bong Soon's mom has a good heart-to-heart with her about how to cope with losing her power. And she also tells Bong Soon that she'll start taking care of her more now. That she only prioritized Bong Ki in the past because when they were young, he was always super sick and weak. Poor kid. On her way to work, Bong Soon thinks about how her life will change now that she's normal, and all the things she can no longer do, like walk around carefree at night, all alone, or help people in kind of secretive ways.
I like the scene of the old woman when she's like, she gets behind her fucking wagon.
Yeah.
And helps her up. That was a cute scene.
At work, Bong Soon tries to go back to her normal routine, and Min Hyuk sends her a text saying that he was at the hospital and that the random victim guy is okay.
Yay!
I know. Mr. O finds Bong Soon in the hallway and tells her to move 10 boxes of paper like the last time. Because Mr. O cannot get over Bong Soon.
Do your fucking job, guy.
I know. Stay in your lane. Worry about yourself. Mr. O tries to show Min Hyuk and Mr. Gong how strong Bong Soon is, but when they walk in, they just see her struggling to move the boxes of paper. He calls her a witch, which is so funny. He calls her a witch and tells her to stop putting on an act, which is, like, very much a cat thing, I feel. But it's sad because Bong Soon actually lost her power, so she's not. Anyway, Mr. Gong gets after Mr. O for making her do that.
Yeah, I like how Mr. Gong gets really pissed at him, and then he starts carrying the boxes.
Yeah, Mr. Gong is so sweet.
At this point, Min Hyuk takes Bong Soon's hand, and they go out to a patio area. They talk about how she's feeling and how they can go on dates now, and they found Kyung Shim. Everything's good. Min Hyuk tells her it doesn't matter to him whether she's super strong or not. He just wants her to be happy. So sweet. He can do all the heavy lifting, is what he says. Bong Soon tricks Min Hyuk into admitting that they're actually the same age, and she starts teasing him by talking to him casually, and he chases her. Super cute, flirty moment. She suddenly feels better right now. Yeah. She's good. Then we cut to Big Tech, like, Dios mío, and his sidekicks are celebrating the redevelopment approval, and then the monk calls and invites them to a sauna. Okay. Then we cut to Bong Soon's mom and her friends, and they're upset about the redevelopment. They're talking about it at the cafe. And Gukdu's mom walks in, and she tells Bong Soon's dad that she's planning to make something, whatever, and she needs walnuts for it. And then Bong Soon's mom says, like, you should know that as owners, we can refuse service to anyone, and we're refusing it to you. And then I know, right? And that's extra money, y'all. Just take her fucking money. Bong Soon's dad steps in, and he tells her, no, like, that's not right. We're going to give her whatever she asked for. And he, like, totally stands up for himself and for Gukdu's mom, which is like, whoa.
But then he, like, scurries away.
And her mom is pissed and shocked that he talked to her that way. Bong Soon and Min Hyuk are working together on her game. This is a really fucking weird scene. And they're working on the villain, who looks fucking weird. He looks like a character on Shrek or something. I don't know.
He does.
I don't know why that popped into my head when I was watching. But then they realize that the villain they've designed looks exactly like Mr. Gong. And, like, he walks in the room, and he's talking to them, and it goes from his face to the stupid design, and then back again, and it's just, like, flickering. It looks so stupid.
I kind of feel like it doesn't even look that much like him.
I can see...
It's just the eyebrows, mostly.
Yeah, I can see where it looks like him, and, like, the nose, too, a little bit. But overall, like, honestly, again, it just looks like a Shrek character. Like someone from the Kingdom or something, you know? It's... I don't know. I don't like the drawing. Let's just say that. The Double Trouble couple song plays at this point, and then they're hanging out after work, eating chocolate, being cute. Life's great.
Yeah.
Normal life.
Totes. Big Tac and his dudes talk about Bong Soon and Min Hyuk dating while they're at the sauna with the monk. Okay. Cops find the kidnapper's jacket at the shore of the lake thing, but they still can't find a body, which means that body ain't in that lake, y'all. Yeah. They talk about whether he could have survived or not, but they don't think it's possible since it was so high up. But Gukju still looks pretty worried, and I think Gukju's like,
he should be.
This guy is not normal. He's probably still out there. Back at home, Bong Soon's mom says she wants a divorce. Or she's telling Bong Soon's dad that she wants a divorce, and they fight. And Bong Soon's like, ugh. Why? Yeah. So she goes upstairs. Bong Soon pulls out the journals that her grandma brought for her, and she thinks about how she didn't get to write much in them, which is kind of sad. The next day, Min Hyuk takes Bong Soon out for a picnic, and Min Hyuk is, like, super in love with her. It's really sweet. I like watching Bong Soon put their little, like, lunch boxes together. So good. Yeah. She looks like, how do I say? It's all very thoughtful, and you can tell, like, she's a good cook, but you can tell I'm poor because I just was looking at all of that fruit, and I was like, oh my god, that must have been so expensive.
Yeah, fruit's not cheap, y'all.
No, like, looking at all that pineapple and, like, berries and grapes and stuff. Anyway, an amazing looking, lunchbox thing.
Yeah.
Then we have some, like, cute scenes of them just, like, laying out in the sun, reading comic books. Min Hyuk has a funny line about how he's photosynthesizing, which I appreciated. And they eat Bong Soon's lunch that she packed, and Min Hyuk does a slow clap for how good her food is. Then, gasp, we see the kidnapper. He's alive, and he's doing research about Min Hyuk now, because Min Hyuk got in his way.
Min Hyuk kicked his ass.
We then see how he survived the fall, and he gives himself a haircut to disguise himself. Gukju calls Bong Soon and asks if she's okay, and he wants to meet her at work to talk since they haven't talked since the incident. The kidnapper dresses up like a reporter and convinces the Einsoft front desk people to let him in the building.
Chump. You should never let someone in.
No.
Unless you know for sure.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're there for a reason.
Yeah, do your fucking job. Gukju passes by the kidnapper around the elevator section, and they kind of, like, tap shoulders, and they make eyes, and he realizes that it's him. And then they fight by the elevators, but the kidnapper takes a girl hostage in an elevator and says, like, I'm gonna slit her fucking throat. Don't fuck with me. And Gukju doesn't know what to do. Elevator closes. He calls Min Hyuk to let him know that the guy is in the building, and y'all need to go on lockdown. Gukju and Min Hyuk run through the building looking for the kidnapper, but they can't find him because this fucking building is huge. There's a ton of people. Min Hyuk goes to the security office and confirms that it's him through cameras and stuff. He looks very different, by the way, with short hair and the glasses.
Oh, the kidnapper?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, he's not as ugly, I feel like. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because he looked, like, pretty handsome when he had his hair combed back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that, like, fucking creepy Justin Bieber emo kid hair.
Yeah. He looked totally different with, like, the big glasses and the super short hair.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Gukdu and Minhyuk, they're running around the building. They can't find him. Minhyuk runs into his office to make sure Bong Soon is okay. And he tells her, hey, it's the kidnapper. It's him. He's here. He's alive. Kidnapper talks to Minhyuk over the PA system. And he tells him, like, let's play a game because you're a big computer dude.
Mm-hmm.
You need to find me within 15 minutes or the building's going to blow up. Minhyuk tells Mr. Gong to watch over Bong Soon and don't leave her sight.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, not saying anything.
Yeah.
Really. Gukdu and Minhyuk find the women that the kidnapper tied up in the communications room where he made the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Minhyuk tells his employees, save your work, and then leave. And I love how he said that twice.
Yeah.
Save your work, and then leave.
Save your work, turn off your computer.
And then get out of the building. Don't do a hard restart. Just turn it off the correct way.
Do a Control S and then shut down.
Oh my god. It was really funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he tells him to get out, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Minhyuk tells Gukdu that he needs to catch the kidnapper and that Bong Soon is in his office. When he makes the announcement, though, Mr. Gong and Bong Soon are in the office, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we should leave too. And Mr. Gong's kind of looking around, and as he's walking, kidnapper comes up from behind him, hits him over the head. Bong Soon's in front. Mm-hmm. And then he hits her. She passes out. He carries her away. Mm-hmm. It's like, maybe you should have told them to stay, hide somewhere. I don't know. What he could have done.
I feel like Minhyuk should have had a panic room or something.
You would think he would.
Especially with all the threats he's gotten. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's super rich. I'd be like, panic room, please. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I feel like...
Panic game room.
Yeah. Exactly. You have one in your house. Might as well put one in your office.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So Minhyuk cuts power to the building. So we get, like, an intense scene of Minhyuk and Gukdu and the kidnapper all, like, running around, power walking through the building without the lights on. And honestly, I feel like Minhyuk should have a higher tech way of finding the kidnapper rather than just running around and opening doors. I'm like, bro, you were able to somehow get, like, fucking scan underneath the ground to find a lair, but for some reason, like, you can't do that in your office? Like, you don't have, like a heat sensor or
Yeah, I was
something?
gonna say, he should be the type that would have a heat sensor.
Yeah, like, or why was he not, like, fucking in the security room looking at... I mean, I know he said he cut power to the building, but I don't know.
I don't know if those cameras would cut. I wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know how security cameras like that work.
I don't know either, but he should know.
Or have some that work.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are you just running around opening doors, bro? Also, not even, like, looking in the rooms that, like, closely, so he totally could have just been hiding.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not a good strategy. Because you only have 15 minutes, and that building is huge.
Yeah.
So the kidnapper carries Bong Soon to the roof and chains her in, like, a utilities area closet thing. The kidnapper picks on Bong Soon and tells her to try to fight back, and then punches her. Fucked up. Gukdu realizes that the kidnapper has Bong Soon, and Minhyuk sees that they're on the roof.
How, though?
Her tracker.
That's right, her necklace. Okay.
Yeah. It came in handy again. Then we see that the kidnapper has taped a time bomb to Bong Soon. He's okay. So on the roof, she's like in a utility fucking, I don't know, closet thing. So he's tied her to a big pipe in there, and then he's locked the door to that closet thing and then put chains around that as well. And I'm just wondering how he had so many chains in that backpack.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him come in with the backpack and I thought, like, oh shit, he's got guns or a fucking bomb or something in there.
He definitely had a bomb.
But it didn't look that big.
I agree.
Like, normally a bomb backpack is, like, stuffed.
Yeah. It looked empty, to be honest. And I'm like, okay, he had tons of chains. Because he wrapped several chains around her, and then several chains around that door.
And then the bomb.
And he had a big fucking wrench thing that he hit Mr. Bong.
Mr. Bong.
Mr. Gong over the head with, which, I mean, he didn't necessarily need to walk in with that, I guess.
Yeah,
but...
he had found that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where that would be laying around.
Yeah.
It's like Clue.
Yeah. So, okay, time bomb, backpack. So Minhyuk is on the roof, but doesn't see the kidnapper, and he can't find Bong Soon. Again, it's a very big space. Gukju is super close to finding the kidnapper, but then gets distracted by a music box thing that the kidnapper has left to trick him, since it looks like a bomb. It's like beeping and shit.
Yeah.
Minhyuk finally sees the doors with the chains on them and realizes Bong Soon is inside. He tries to kick and shove the door down, but it doesn't work because it's...
Because you're not a strong boy.
No, he's not a strong boy. He's a good fighter, but... So, also, it's like a very heavy-duty industrial door.
With chains.
With chains, yes. Bong Soon finally wakes up and starts crying when she sees she has a bomb on her. Which,
ugly crying.
Yeah, and a pretty honest reaction, probably. She tells him to run away because of the bomb, but Minhyuk doesn't, and he's, like, still trying to shove the door down. Bong Soon keeps telling Minhyuk to run away, but Minhyuk tells her that he won't leave without her, and that they're going to leave together. He tries to calm her down and tells her not to cry, but she keeps begging him to leave while sobbing. Minhyuk is, like, very calm. To the point where I'm like, this guy's just accepted that he's gonna die.
Yeah, he's like, let's just die together. Everything's okay. We'll die together.
Yeah. Very intense. So Minhyuk is, like, super exhausted and crying on the other side of the door. And at this point, Bong Soon is, like, desperate, and she, like, cries out and is like, please help me save him. Because at this point, I don't think she cares about herself. It's just like, this guy's not leaving.
Yeah, I gotta help him.
Yeah, I need to save him. So the sky, like, opens up, her journals light up, and, like, the sky swirls, and
then it's like, bow, 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 bow. Wow. And then bust open.
Yeah. So she becomes strong again.
Yay!
I know. She breaks out of the room, throws the bomb into the air, and then it explodes like a bunch of fireworks.
I thought that was really funny. I didn't know a bomb could explode into fireworks, y'all.
Think it can't. Unless you have fireworks taped.
It was like one big explosion, and then suddenly it was like a beautiful fireworks show. Like, Einsoft set up this fucking fireworks show for all of their employees. And
I feel like we get a scene, maybe, of the kidnapper in the crowd.
Yes.
And the employees are like, wow. To the fireworks.
So weird.
It's kind of like in Mulan, where, like...
I never saw Mulan.
Oh my god.
So, side note. When Mulan came out, I don't know how old I was. I don't remember when it came out. But I was, like, elementary.
Yeah.
And...
I'm pretty sure it came out when I was, like, in kindergarten.
Okay, I was
or maybe pre-K, so probably, like, 4 or 5.
Yeah, okay. So, my cousins were visiting, probably at that point from, like, Louisiana. They were a military family or whatever. And then aunts, mom, me, like, cousins and stuff were like, we're gonna take you out of the movies to see Mulan. Like, okay. This is in fucking Alice, Texas, America, where the theaters are as fucking small as can be. We get there, and the line is so fucking long for Mulan. It's just a fucking line of mothers and their ugly kids. And my mom and my aunts and stuff were like, well, we're not going. And they left. And I never saw Mulan. It's like, well, I guess I'm not going to see this movie. I just remember leaving, like, really upset. Like, God damn it, I wanted to see it.
It's on Netflix.
I know it's on Netflix. I've just never seen it.
You should watch it.
I've just always had this, like, I don't know.
Bad
like,
association.
Yeah, we drove up, and it was so packed, and I think, like, they got down, and they, like, went over there, and they were like, yeah, there's not gonna be seats for us. Like, we're fucking going home, y'all.
Oh my
Sorry.
God. This is so funny, because I'm sure I've karaoke'd Mulan songs.
Yeah, you definitely have, and I'm just like, okay.
You should watch it. Okay, also, side note, I really liked Mulan. I think because, even though she's Chinese and I'm Korean.
She's so Asian.
Yeah, and I was like, she's badass. And, like, there's this one scene where she, like, scales a pole with 2 things tied together. And when we were living in Minnesota at the time, so we had a basement, because, like, there aren't basements in Texas. And there was, like, a pole in the basement, and I tied 2 t-shirts together, and I walked up the pole trying to be like Mulan, and my mom and dad came down and saw me, and they were like, what the fuck? I don't think they said the F word.
Kaitlin!
Yeah, they told me to get down, because, yeah, I must have been 5.
I'm Mulan!
Yeah. Just like a little kid on like hanging from a pole with 2 t-shirts tied together.
I'm pretty sure I told Andrew my Mulan story, and I think the same thing happened to him. That he went and it was like packed and he didn't get to go.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think he still saw it later.
Okay,
I never saw it.
I think Alex has a Mulan story too, because I think he saw Mulan in Mexico.
Huh. Okay.
He definitely saw a Disney movie in Mexico. I think it might have been Mulan.
We'll need to bring this up when we do our group.
Definitely. But I think Mulan is a very underrated Disney movie.
I wanted to see it. I was fucking pumped to see it. And then I was just sad and I probably cried.
Oh god. Like, yeah. And so, spoiler alert, there are fireworks at the end of that movie.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's what that scene reminded me of.
We'll need to add Mulan to our big movie night thing.
Yeah, our quadruple feature at this point.
That has 2 Adam Sandler movies. What does it have again? It has Wedding Singer, and what's the other one?
I don't know what the other Adam Sandler movie is. Okay, it has
That Thing You Do.
That Thing You Do, The Wedding Singer, Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, maybe I was thinking Drew Barrymore, even though she's not in there, but Josie Grossi. Because we talked about Never Been Kissed.
Yes.
Ah, too many movies.
Yeah, Josie and the Pussycats, and now Mulan. One of these is not like the other.
Can you guess which one?
I guess they're all 90s movies. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That Thing You Do is also,
I think that's, 90s. Or Josie and the Pussycats might have been early 2000s.
Early 2000s, definitely, yeah.
But whatever. I kind of feel like 2002 is still in the 90s.
Yeah.
Just with the way everything looked.
Yeah. It was slowly getting out of it.
Yeah. Anyway, Bong Soon and Min Hyuk hold each other while crying, and then ban end of episode. We were one sentence away.
Stupid. Oh my god.
Okay, so anyway.
Yeah, those are 2 good episodes.
Uh-huh. What did you think of the kidnapper, like, making a hard turn, like, being dead for a little bit, and then coming back in disguise?
When he flew off the cliff, I was thinking, like, wow, that's really anticlimactic. Like, I expected a big fight scene between him and Bong Soon.
Uh-huh.
Because that's, like, the fight scene you want to see. Not her with some lame-ass gangsters or some hoodlum teenagers. Like,
right.
You want to see her fight an actual bad guy.
Yeah.
And that didn't even happen. And then I was like, well, he's not fucking dead.
Yeah.
He's definitely not dead, y'all.
Totally.
And he wasn't. I don't know. I think he just needs to get out while you still can. Fucking drop it already. Go somewhere else. Fuck with some other people. Because all these people know what you look like and they know who you are. Like,
yeah. His disguise wasn't... I mean, like you said, he did look very different. But Gukju was immediately
he was like, hey, I know you.
And just says his name, which I've never written down his name.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's easier.
He's like, hey, kidnapper.
It's like Jang or Jung and something. I don't know.
Kong or something.
Yeah.
Is it Kong? I don't remember.
Kong, Jung, whatever. Anyway, kidnapper.
Yeah, kidnapper.
Yeah. Weirdly, I feel like the previous 2 episodes were better.
I think so, too.
But if I remember correctly, the last 2 episodes were
really
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's still out there. So I think there's going to be another scene. Another conclusion to the story.
Yeah. I remember being very stressed when Bong Soon was tied up. Mm-hmm. Because, like, she's not going to die because... There are still 2 more episodes.
Yeah. And the show is called Strong Girl.
Exactly. But I just remember thinking, like, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
how is she going to get out of this?
Exactly.
I was thinking, like, her power has to come back. Because, again, I was telling myself the way she lost it was just so stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, she didn't deserve to lose her power then.
Yeah.
Those gods were like, oh, we fucked up.
Yeah. My bad.
Go ahead and give it back to me right now. I just wanted to scare you a little bit.
Yeah, but, like, Minhyuk is truly ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for him.
Yeah. In it till the end.
Sweet boy. Anything else? Should we move on to fashion?
Yeah.
Oh, predictions.
Oh, Well, I think in the crowd, obviously, dude will get away for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna run away. He's gonna try again.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how. I think there maybe will be that big scene between him and Bong Soon, where she's able to kick his ass.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. Everyone lives happily ever after.
Conclusion, yeah. It is a K-drama.
Heejee and Bong-ki are together, and Bong Soon and Minhyuk are together. It's a big family dinner, and then Gukdu comes in, and then there's going to be some random girl who catches his eye, and they're going to be like, oh, and then they're going to get together, and then the grandma's going to come, she's going to beat someone up. Everyone's going to have dinner together. That's how it's going to end. Like romance. Where they're all together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that ending.
Mm-hmm. Nice happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fashion.
Fashion. Turn to the left. Fashion. Turn to the right. Fashion. Yes, God.
Yes.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
I liked, you noted it also, but I liked her picnic outfit, Bong Soon's.
Mm-hmm.
That was pink and white stripes, and it had like some cute little floral designs on it, and her little hat. She was super cute. And then also in the beginning of episode 13, when she first goes to the junkyard, she's wearing like some leather pleather pants and an oversized hoodie.
Yeah.
I really like that look. That's a good look. Made me want some faux leather pants. She's also at one point wearing a spaghetti strap mixed print dress over
like
a
the
sweater.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah, I really like that.
I do too.
It's also like a pleather on one side, and then the other side is like a check. But then the
Plaid,
bottom has like a fluffed out skirt on
Yeah.
one side. I love those skirts and dresses and outfits. Like, I'm noticing that a lot in the K-dramas, and I love it.
Yeah.
And on one thing that I got on Yes Style, it's that black skirt, and half of it is black, and the other half is plaid. And I just love it so much.
I don't think I've seen you wear that yet.
Yeah, I wore it maybe 2 times during the year, and then it's hot as shit now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know if I'll wear it over summer, even though I really like it. Maybe I will. I wore it to my brother's art show, so there's photos with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I like wearing it with the black turtleneck, and then just like
Yeah.
that check on the side or that plaid on the side.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, I really like that. And then also at the last scenes when all the stuff's happening at Einsoft, Minhyuk is wearing like black pants, black shoes, and he's wearing his like jacket, but it looks like there's maybe another jacket or a long shirt thing.
Yeah,
I can't tell
I think
what's
it's another
happening.
long shirt situation.
Yeah, there's like green flaps at the bottom, and I really like those little flaps. I just think it's a cool look, and it makes him look really tall.
Yeah. I think Minhyuk has a lot of good looks in these episodes. I liked his tan jacket and tan boots when he goes to pick Bong Soon up from
He's
the
all
junkyard.
mad. He's all upset.
Yeah, he's all upset.
He's all upset.
Yeah, he also has a really cool blue jacket. It's like suede.
Is that the one
Question
he's
mark?
wearing at the end too? Or is that a different one?
That's the one where he sees Gukju and Bong Soon
Yes,
together.
okay.
It's like, looks kind of 70s-y. It has like those like ring pull things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I really like Gukju's boss's turtleneck and long cardigan combo. Do you remember that? Like,
yes.
It's kind
he wears
of
that a lot.
feminine.
I'm into it.
But yeah. I'm like, he pulls it off, weirdly enough. Like you said, Bong Soon's asymmetrical dress, I really liked that. Oh, and Mr. O's red suit. He looked good in that. And his shoes, too. I think he kind of has shoes similar to what I have, which is kind of funny. They're like brogues, but like kind of platform.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his red suit.
Yeah. Very cool. I love that. I know I said this in Romance as a bonus book, but man, I'm just so glad we have fashion to talk about.
Unlike Descendants.
Yes.
Everything's all dusty.
Because, like, behind the scenes, I originally made this podcast to do with Alex, and I created these segments, kind of, with this drama in mind, because we were gonna do Strong Girl Bong Soon first. And I was like, oh, there's tons of great fashion in there. And then we ended up doing Descendants of the Sun, and it's just like, well, this person was wearing shorts again.
This one's wearing the wrong shoes in this fucking country.
In this desert. Anyway, so yeah, it's a lot of good fashion. And, I mean, it's only like 3 years ago, but I feel like it's aged pretty well.
Yeah. There's a lot of good looks.
Totally. Shall we move on to I Love You?
Yes.
I love you.
I love you. I will always love you.
I love you.
Okay. I like the moment when they're laying on the couch and Minhyuk asks her to love him back. And she replies that she does. And he says that she's like a little peanut.
Yeah.
And fits easily in his heart.
That was the line where I was like, aw.
It's really sweet.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be mine too, actually.
I mean, yeah, because it is, like, very powerful when he's like, I'm not gonna leave you. And he's, like, weirdly calm. But I just really like that moment because, with them on the couch, because prior to that, like, they were fighting.
Yeah.
And, like, they weren't really talking to each other. So,
but then all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
He took care of her.
Yeah.
She woke up from a big, long nap. And was like, yeah, I dig you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
We're
sweet.
okay. We're
And
back together.
I love that just, like, hugging, frontwards spooning, because it's sweet. It's nice.
Yeah, I agree. That
That-
one's gonna be mine too.
That couch looks amazing. Also, you can tell how small those two people are.
They fit perfectly on it.
Yes. If Alex and I tried to do that, well, that couch looks pretty deep, to be fair.
Yeah, even like on the sofa we have, when Andrew and I are laying side by side, it's like somebody's leg is off.
Yeah.
Somebody's butt is sticking off of the sofa. And then Edie has to fucking drive a wedge between us, so we're even more
God.
off. Like, ugh, it's all fucked up.
Yeah.
There's never enough sofa to go around.
But they look great on that sofa together. All
Agreed.
right. So,
That was fun.
it was fun. Let us know what your I love you moments are.
Your fashion moments.
Yeah. And just a heads up, so we're gonna have the finale episodes next week. The following week, it's gonna be a recap episode where we have the boys.
Our awards.
Yes, our award show.
And Andrew hasn't watched shit. He stopped after like episode 3 or 4.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's all been me by myself.
Yikes.
So he either needs to, I don't know, read the synopsis online or listen to a podcast that's talking about the episodes, maybe.
Or just, like, watch some YouTube clips so he
Yep.
knows what people look like and stuff. Yeah, but, so we're gonna put some polls up on Twitter at OKDramaPod.
On Instagram at OK Drama Podcast.
And Facebook, OKDrama Podcast. And so I've really only done this on Twitter, but last time we had some, like, pretty good engagement. But so yeah, so you're gonna vote with us, and we're going to take your fan vote into account with who we award these very prestigious awards to. So be on the lookout for that. What else? Oh yeah, if you don't want to vote and you just want to hang out and talk to us,
Do that too.
do that
we don't
too.
care.
Yeah. And you can email us some long form stuff at okdramapodcast@gmail.com. If you give us a review and a rating, we'll give you a shout out. That would be cool. It also just, like, lets other people know that we have a podcast. And it's, like, okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to listen
It's
to.
alright, yeah.
It's fun. It helps pass the time. What else? I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, if you have a recommendation for another drama we should watch, let us know.
Probably an upcoming one.
Yes.
Or I guess even an old one, because then, like, we'll go back to older ones later.
There are a few dramas that I think have maybe just ended or have a few episodes left on Netflix, but I have not heard great things about them. So, yeah. Again, we have some off-mic stuff to talk about. But
Yeah.
if you have Jill and I like to watch dramas on Netflix, so they're, like, very easily accessible to everyone. But if there's like an overwhelming consensus that we should watch something that's not on Netflix, I think we could maybe consider that. Because there's some excellent dramas on Viki. So, anyway, let us know. Talk to us. We like making friends online.
Yeah.
Not really in person.
We grew up in the computer internet world.
Yeah.
Behind a screen.
Totally. But yeah, so I guess that's it. And we will talk about the finale episodes of Strong Girl Bong Soon next week.
Bye.
Bye.